Yo, what's going on, guys? KrispyFlakes. So as we all know, Dejounte Murray is going to be out for the NBA season with a torn ACL. For today's video, we are going to talk about 6 different point guards I think the Spurs need to trade for ASAP. So instead of you guys watching me, go through all the screens right there, I'm actually going to throw some gameplay in the background. I never do gameplay on my channel, so here you guys go. Let's talk about 6 point guards that the San Antonio Spurs need to trade for ASAP, guys. So first, when we talk about Dejounte Murray, what exactly are we going to be looking for to replace him? Well, we don't want like an extremely young guy that we need to invest in, because when it comes to Dejounte, you definitely want to get a player that, in 2 seasons from now, maybe 3 seasons, Dejounte will be ready to fill into that role, and maybe that specific player will be, off a contract or something along those lines. So yeah, it's definitely something to consider. Instead of trading for, a young blood out there, we have to give a lot of draft picks to do so. Get somebody that's a bit older, man. Get somebody with a bit of experience that fits right in with this kind of older San Antonio Spurs squad. I mean, DeMar DeRozan 28, 29, LaMarcus 32, Pau Gasol 37. So yeah, man, definitely you want some guys that can help you contend out there, know the game, and stuff along those lines. So the first point guard I think that they need to go for is not like a big time guy, but somebody that I think fits the mold of Spurs basketball, and that is the guy on the Los Angeles Clippers, Patrick Beverley. So Patrick Beverley is 29, on a 1-year, $5 million contract. Now, he is coming off an injury himself, but I think he will be fine. Just a guy that will go in there, and you can't really ask him to do too much, but he's going to bring you about 10 points per game, get you about 4, 5, 6 rebounds, about 3, 4 assists out there. They would definitely need to run the ball more through guys like DeMar DeRozan. I think Marcus Aldridge would definitely have to work on his passing abilities as a big man. But yeah, Patrick Beverley, just a nice, solid 3-and-D player, a guy that could be there for the next few seasons. And then once DeJounte's back, hey, Patrick Beverley, you can either use him as a 6-man off your bench, or, hey, go to a different team out there. But I thought that would be a nice guy to get. So this next player, you probably think about a first-round draft pick to get him, but at the same time, maybe a few expiring contracts would also get the job done for a rebuilding team. The Memphis Grizzlies, Mike Conley. So I love the idea of Mike Conley on this Spurs team. I just feel like he is a Greg Popovich type of player. In the 2017 season, so that was the season before his big-time injury, he was actually having his best season at 21 points, 6 assists per game, and 4 rebounds, shot 41% from 3. So you have him in the backcourt with DeMar DeRozan, and he helps, stretching that floor, which was kind of a knockoff of using DeJounte and DeMar at the same time. The thing is, though, he is on a 3-year contract, so 2 years is guaranteed, $6 million. That third year is a player option. So you would hope that after those 2 seasons, it would be time for the DeJounte to bounce back, be the starting point guard, and Mike Conley would decline that player option. But for $30 million, you can't really bet on that. But even so, Mike Conley, if he plays out his contract with the Spurs, or maybe they even trade that expiring contract from that third player option, although I don't know if that would be a trade clause in that case, then even in 3 seasons, DeJounte would only be 25. He would get to learn from a great point guard, Mike Conley. I don't think it's a bad case, man. I just feel like he really fits in with the rest of that Spurs team out there. And then eventually that window would close. Those guys would all get older. And then you start building around a guy like Dejounte Murray. Right? So I think that would work out nicely. Another point guard. So this is a basketball IQ type of guy, and that is Jeremy Lin of the Atlanta Hawks. As of right now, he's probably going to be the 6th man off the bench unless they decide to start him over Trae Young. But we all know that would only be a temporary solution, right? So last NBA season, he averaged about 18 points, 4 assists per game for the Brooklyn Nets. I don't think he played a ton of games, if I remember correctly. He did have his own injury issues. But yeah, actually it looks like he only played 1 game last season. That's why he averaged 18 and 4. So you're looking more at a guy that will average about 15 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists. That was his numbers the season before for the Brooklyn Nets. Very smart player, very high basketball IQ. Somebody that's going to go into the system and just do the right thing. He's 29, so it's like, from a contract situation, he's only on a 1-year deal, so you're not really investing a lot of money into him. If you felt like DJ out there, man, was ready to come back next season, then okay, Jeremy Lin, bye. Maybe sign him to a multi-year contract, and he can also be your 6th man in the future too. So that's the thing. You want guys that you can kind of shift from 6th man to starter and vice versa, except in the case of Mike Conley, of course. All right, next up, this would be probably a 1-year solution, and that is Goran Dragic, the Miami Heat. So Goran is probably going to be traded at some point during this NBA season, unless the Miami Heat are looking really good out there. I know he's already been part of trade packages and stuff like that. But he was an all-star last season. Put him alongside the rest of the Spurs team out there. Once again, man, it's just a good fit. 17 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists. A winner out there if I've ever saw one. A player that I think would instantly fit into the system. And, at the age of 32, he's definitely going to be as hungry for a championship as some of those older guys out there whose careers are starting to kind of dwindle down a little bit. Just gives him a good chance to go to a winning team out there. Not saying that he can't win. I think the Heat are going to be very good next season, but I definitely think Goran Dragic on the Spurs, given what they already have, he would just be a missing piece that they absolutely need. Okay, next up, I don't know if you can do this trade right away because he did just sign with the team, but that is Isaiah Thomas. So Isaiah Thomas, we know can fill up the basket. I mean, just 2 seasons ago, guys, was averaging 30.6 assists per game. Of course, last year with the Lakers and Cleveland Cavaliers, put about 15 points, 5 assists, which are still really good numbers. Now his field goal percentage, not always the greatest. Last year was only at 37%, but the season before 46%. So if he can return back to that Boston Celtics Isaiah Thomas, then all of a sudden the Spurs are looking like a team that can win the championship, because this man, I mean, proved that he can lead a team by himself, right? So you put him in the system with everybody else, it's good things out there. Defensively, the Spurs would really struggle because as of right now, their defense is not that good. LaMarcus Aldridge's not really known for defense. DeMar DeRozan can get it done. I mean, he can D up guys. The center position, they got like Jakob and Pau Gasol. So, wow, Jakob can play defense. Pau Gasol, you know, not looking all that great out there. But yeah, man, I think you put Isaiah Thomas on that team, and then you just try to outscore everybody. You got a ton of good scorers on that team. And as of right now, he's a bench player on the Nuggets. So it's like, he's contract friendly. It's a 1-year deal. If you like him, you bring him back to maybe even be a 6-man on the Spurs in the future. And then finally, this is a player that, well, I don't know if it makes as much sense as everybody else, but this is somebody that you would have to kind of be like, okay, well, Dejounte's out. We don't think he's going to be the same player. Time to move on with somebody else. And that is the Boston Celtics' Terry Rozier. So Terry Rozier is only 24. He is on an expiring contract. He led that Celtics team when Kyrie Irving went down. I mean, he was scary. Terry out there, he was knocking down threes. He was looking like a guy that deserves a spot at a starting point guard position. But sometimes when you get a player in a system like that, they're okay with going to the bench. I mean, you look at Terry Rozier right now in the Celtics. Like, he was okay with coming back to this team and just being a 6-man. I mean, at the same time, he might have had the idea that Kyrie was potentially going to New York Knicks, which might be why he stuck around. But even so, it's like you put him on the San Antonio Spurs. You see how he does for a season or two, and then you decide, okay, does Dejounte come back and take the starting role? Does Dejounte go to the bench? Does Terry Rozier, start, go to the bench, things like that. You kind of give him a 2-year tryout, and I feel like that would be good for Terry. I feel like he would go out there and just really have a contract type of year out there, man. So yeah, those are 6 point guards I think would be a great fit. I just want to say I'm sorry, Spurs fans. Absolutely sucks. I thought he was going to be, I thought Dejounte was going to have a breakout year. Might even be a candidate for most improved player. But he's young. His body will heal. And you guys will be good to go. Thank you guys all so much for watching. And peace out, my friend.